when life gets you down, feel the pain all around. Keep the love in your heart and hold your head high. Heartaches, grief,
Welcome to the Let That Go show with Kassira McKee and Richard Skipper. This show is based on Kassira's book, Let That Go, where she guides people in completely blessing and releasing people, places, and all kinds of things. Kassira and Richard share personal insights and experiences based on concepts in Kassira's book, with guests and you, their co-hosts. Are you ready to let that go? Let's go.
Happy Sunday and welcome home.
Hi, darling.
It is so good to see you again. I have
Thank
missed
you. It's good to be here. Thank you.
I have missed you, and everybody here has missed
Thank
you.
you.
I know. So you've been through a lot.
Health-wise, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
But you're
Yeah.
back.
I'm back. Yes. I don't go on and on about my negative co-creations. I don't bleed all over social media about it. I did post something today, and I thank everybody for their. I couldn't tag you because you're not on Facebook anymore yet. You know that I really, really appreciate your prayers and your good vibes. And there's a handful of people who know that I had a surgery and then I was ill with a viral infection. And here I am. I'm back, and I'm thrilled.
And Happy New Year. I mean, it's taken us
Thank
almost
you.
halfway through January to get
Yes.
almost all of January.
Thank you, darling. Yes, it's been kind of a blur because I had eye surgery towards the end of December, and my Christmas was like nothing, and which is fine. I don't get down or depressed about stuff like that. It's an important day, yet it's another day, and I get through it and I get on to the next day. But thank you. And you look the same as you always do, fabulous.
Well,
So
thank you for that.
your hair just never moves. I don't understand that.
You know,
You have
I
incredible
tell
hair.
you, everybody loves the hair, but I mean,
I
it
love your
is.
hair.
Thank you. It drives me crazy because it's the only thing about me that's straight, and I can't do anything about it. It's true. I mean,
Yay! We're going to get off to a damn good start. Okay.
really knew how hard. I mean, just to get it like this. I mean, because I mean, it's there. My head is full of cowlicks everywhere. Even cutting my hair, and I have the most wonderful woman who cuts my hair. I love her. I said, don't you ever leave me, because when she cuts my hair, it is. I just wish if I could afford it and do it I would go for a haircut every week.
Well, Marilyn Monroe had her roots dyed once a week. She had her. Let me. As a Marilyn Monroe aficionado, as obviously I don't follow the Marilyn Monroe schedule. However, Marilyn had her roots bleached and had her hair toned once a week. And I'm with you. When it's in my budget, this will be toned and bleached every week, my love. Oh, yes. Don't even think twice about it.
I think you
Don't
look
even think
great.
twice about it.
I wouldn't-
Although I have to say that root realness is a little in right now, so I let the roots grow out a little bit. Thank goodness I still have roots, and I'm not a snowhead yet. I've grown it out to figure out if I am, and I'm not. So, but someday I have these. Okay, so Texas is, the capital of the gorgeous blondes. And I have many, 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 many female friends that are in spectacular follies with me. And these their hair has grown out into this gorgeous white, gorgeous thing. And they don't color their hair anymore. And they're now natural platinum blondes. And I'm so envious in a good way. So someday I will be a natural platinum blonde like these other women in spectacular follies in Dallas. Yes. Someday.
Well, Leroy Reams refers to it as the cotton tops, and I am proud to be part of the cotton tops.
I call it Snow Mountain. Okay, all right, whatever.
When I was a kid, my grandparents, my mom and on my dad's side, I never knew my grandparents without white hair. I mean, even as a
Mhm,
small child.
mhm. Yeah.
And, I could not wa and I kept saying, "Oh, dear God, please let my hair go white like theirs." And throughout my 30s, I went through every shade of blonde there was even to go through. As a matter of fact, I did a show called Men of Manhattan, and,
Uh-huh.
they even wrote the line in, my character, when one of the characters says, "What is that shade on your head?" And I called, "It's champagne blonde." Which was a real
Okay.
it was a real shade because
Yes,
that's what I
I
was wearing at
remember.
the time. And when I
Mhm.
hit 40, I said, "Okay, this is it." And Danny, God bless him, he used to dye his hair, for the longest time, and I kept saying, "Let it go, let it go, let it go."
Mhm,
It's
mhm,
white
mhm.
hair. I mean, it's salt and pepper, but I just love it.
You
Uh
know, in the 50s, there was a toner, and I know that Rosemary Clooney, I know her people used it. There were several people. It was an iridescent toner that so they would bleach your roots out, and then they'd put this iridescent toner on it. These days, I had a hairdresser in New York used to use it on me, and my hair looked fabulous. I haven't found this toner since then. It's this iridescent, gorgeous toner that blondes put on their hair that has it has a little pink, a little blue, a little lavender. It's really subtle, and I love it. I haven't since found that. I haven't since found it yet, but it was this beautiful. It was known in the 50s, this iridescent blonde color that I really, really love. But I just want to say that your hair always looks fabulous. Mine's kind of a toss up. It kind of has a mind of its own.
You can see. I mean, when I wake up in the morning, uh, Phyllis Diller had nothing on me, so it's everywhere. It's like it's so bushy top.
Really, I love that. It's like zhuzh to the universe.
It's
Okay,
just to the universe. I
zhuzh
like
to the
that.
universe.
I'm
Okay,
just to
okay.
the universe.
It is. Mine is a cross between Marilyn just woke up and Phyllis Diller, probably. Yeah. It's if you can imagine that, it's just like, wow, my hair is thick and curly. And as you can see from the picture we put on our banners, that's my natural hair.
Yeah.
That's my hair in its natural state. It's I have sister hair. I
Well,
got Chaka Khan hair. And the longer it gets, the bigger it gets. So, when I move to New Orleans next year, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let the hair go. I'm gonna be myself. Yeah, we're gonna see.
celebrate
We're
it,
gonna see.
baby. Celebrate it. Sean, thank you. It was great seeing you today. Sean Patrick Murtaugh and I. Sean,
Hi.
I'm such a huge fan of his. We sat next to each other today at Deborah Stone's show. I
How
was
do I
telling you,
know him? How do I know that name?
he has an incredible show celebrating Mario Lanza. He has a new
Okay.
album, Mario 101.
Oh,
And
I love it. That's where I know him. Okay.
but
Okay.
this show today, and if God willing, I'm going to be at Sean's show on Thursday night. That's my
Okay.
plan and my hope. But
Okay.
today it was just so. By the way, Sean, for those who are watching who were in the area, will be at Green Room 42 on Thursday night at 7.
Okay.
So that's my
Because
plan.
it is better to look good than to feel good.
Yes, yes.
And may I say, you look marvelous.
Thank you. Well,
Um,
you do too. I don't
so,
believe that you've been sick, Kassira. I think
oh
you just
God, you
look
have
like
no, you
I,
have no, no,
I
you have no idea. You have no
When
idea.
when we spoke on the phone, you sounded like a cross between Brenda Vaccaro meets Mercedes McCambridge meets Laura,
Well,
Laura.
and then when I got my voice back, I sounded like Gail Storm giving the unity word of the day
But when
on
you called,
television. Do you remember Gail Storm's unity word of the day?
I do, and
I was Gail Storm. I was
but
Gail
Kassira,
Storm.
when you called me, I didn't even recognize your voice on the
I
phone.
couldn't talk. I was squeaking. I was squeaking. And for a singer, that's just not pretty. This right here is my Achilles heel right here. And I mask up, and I've been vaccinated for damn near everything, things that I don't even know how to pronounce. And I still got this viral infection. Why? Because my day job is in a medical facility. It is in the medical world. I'm rethinking that. It is not a well place for me being an empath, and you being an empath. You can well imagine how almost dangerous it is for my health
I have
as
to
an
tell
empath.
you, as an empath, watching, and I had someone on the show the other day, Billy Terrell, and I've been reading about morning routines and how different people do their morning routines. And I
Right.
asked him about his morning routine, and he said that he has not listened to the news in, I think he said, 28 months. And so when he gets up in the morning, he watches an old black and white movie, or he says he watches an old episode of Columbo. But I have to tell you, as
Does
someone,
he have metal? Does he have metal shellback chairs in his backyard?
I don't know. I don't know.
That was a joke.
But I asked this because when I watch the news at night, and I
Mhm.
shouldn't watch it anymore at night, I pick up on the energy of these stories,
Yeah, yeah,
and
of course you do.
and they resonate so deeply
Mhm,
with me. I
mhm.
sit and I'm in tears watching the news,
I
and
like to I like to catch up with the news just to see what's going on, but I don't watch it 24 hours a day.
and
And yeah.
I do wanna say, here we
Mhm,
are
mhm.
celebrating the Lunar New Year, which is
Yeah,
today,
right.
and then what just happened in California today, my heart and my prayers, uh, it's just so horrific.
I know.
Everyone going out to have a good time, and then something like this happening. It's just it's heartbreaking.
Here's the thing. Let's look at the other side of it. And interestingly, our topic today is double standards. Here's the thing. People are unhappy and because of their unhappiness, they go out and kill people. They shoot people. It's a double standard. What if somebody came after them?
Mhm. Or their families.
They wouldn't stand for that. It's a double standard.
Because see,
Uh,
I
we are, yes,
no, go ahead.
we are surrounded by people who have double standards. We all know someone who does not allow us to have our boundaries. We're not allowed to say what I like and what I don't like. Yet they're there to confirm what they don't like and they build a barrier around themselves. Yet we're not allowed to. I just want to refer you back to my chapter in my book. Let that go on the chapter of why we hold on to control on page 82. People who have double standards don't allow anybody else to have boundaries, yet they demand theirs, are the most insecure people on the planet. They don't feel safe anywhere they go. So they demand that we stay away from them, that we follow their orders to keep them safe, yet we are not safe in their environment.
Mhm.
I work with it every day. You've had many experiences about that, Richard. We talked about it. And I dare say anybody watching right now has had those experiences.
Mhm.
It's not only dangerous energetically, it's physically dangerous, and it is uh it is it's got to stop. We have to stop now.
Well,
We
let's
have to
talk
stop
about
now.
something that's going on in the news right now, okay?
Okay.
So, and it's very interesting that all of this is happening at a time where we're having this discussion.
Hmm.
Because as a political person, and although we do not make this show political, you and I have very strong political beliefs.
I don't mention it. You mention it more than I do, and
Yes,
I
but what
I
I'm
don't get
saying
involved. I don't.
is
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
you and I have private conversations that are
Yes, we
private
do.
conversations.
Hmm.
But what I wanted to say is, speaking of double standards,
Hmm.
right now in this country, it's very interesting that these things are unfolding the way they are. That
Hmm.
and I know that the circumstances are different, and I know, but the question is, do you deal with the circumstances in the same way? And what I'm talking about are on both the Republican side and the Democratic side of these leaked documents that are popping up, it seems like every other day. Do we treat both sides the same way?
Yes,
Or
we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Here's the thing. I'm an independent now. I don't hide that. I'm an independent now. Uh, what's good for the goose is good for the other goose. Period.
and
Period.
I want to
People, I have a lot of friends that take sides. But here's the thing, that's a double standard.
that's right.
If you're not going to treat both sides equally, it's a double standard.
Mhm, mhm,
It's a
mhm.
double standard. No matter who knew about what, I don't care. It's if you're not going to treat both sides equally, it's a double standard. Period. I
Well,
don't
look,
care if it's in politics. I don't care if it's in your personal life. I don't care if it's at work. It's all a double standard if you don't treat them equally.
well, I want to get your feedback on or your opinion on something. Speaking of double standards,
Hmm.
um, just recently here in Rockland County, our Pride Center, someone had written some graffiti on the wall. So they had a rally last Sunday, which I went to, and I even reached out to them because those who know me, who follow the show, know that I spent 20 years performing as Carol Channing. Uh, Now it is being laws are trying to be passed in many states that would, number one, make it illegal for those types of shows to take place unless they are considered adult entertainment. Number one, parents can have charges brought against them if they take their children to an event such as drag time story time. uh, there are all of these situations going on. So
I know.
last Sunday, they had a rally in Rockland County,
Hmm.
and one of the people that was invited to speak is someone who just got elected to Congress in our last election. He
Hmm.
is an election denier. He is also very anti-LGBTQ. But the center felt that it was important to invite him to speak anyway. And
Okay.
there may be, and Danny and I are on opposite sides of the spectrum on this. This man, and I'm not mentioning any names, will show up at the opening of an envelope because of the optics of him appearing before this group. And then he will leave this group and he will go back to Washington, D.C., and align with his cronies who will do
Hmm.
everything in their power to fight against the rights of my brothers and sisters. And so I have a real strong uh, negative knee jerk reaction to the fact
Sure.
that this man was even asked to speak at this rally.
Okay. I
Now,
don't blame you.
am I having a
Double, double standards. Double standards. Double standards. Here's the thing: when somebody's elected, it's not the end of the journey. You can complain up one mountain and down the other, and you can make your voice heard.
Mhm,
There are calls for people to resign from their positions these days
mhm.
because they misrepresented themselves. So, you know, that is a good example of a double standard, Richard. That's a great example of double standard. Yeah. Mhm. But a lot of new things are presenting that we're growing as a species. I've
Mhm,
said it before many times. If people think that we have reached the end of our growth as a species, they're so deluded. They're in a fantasy world. We are still like every other species on the planet. We're still evolving as human beings. We're still evolving, and all of these new things that keep cropping up are supposed to contribute to our evolution. When new things crop up and they turn their backs on them and they uh, allude to something else and they misrepresent themselves, it's part of our evolution to call them on it, to call them on their double standards. And that's what you're doing right now. You're
absolutely.
calling you're calling somebody on their double standard. I'm from Texas. I don't need to get started there. I don't, we're not
I
even going to
love
talk
it.
about it. I live in New Mexico now, and we'll be moving to Louisiana next year. Uh, and you know, I love New Mexican government. Our governor is fantastic. Uh, she's she she walks her talk. She
Mhm,
walks her talk. If you walk your talk, you're good. It's called integral. It's called integrity. If one is a double standard person, they are not in their integrity at all. They are in conflict with themselves and they're in conflict with the people they're supposed to be representing.
mhm.
Yet we see this every day in our jobs. I mean, I've had friends that had double standards.
Well, we
They
see it
talk.
a
I've
lot.
had friends that gossiped about everybody, but if you said something about them, oh, forget it. That's a double standard.
But
It's a
who was
double
it
standard.
that said, "Be assured"? I think it was Maya Angelou, and somebody can correct me out here if you know the correct quote or the person that it's attributed to.
Yes, yes.
But there's a great quote. Um, just rest assured that if someone is talking about you, that they are doing,
Yes.
if they're talking about others,
Mhm.
that's what it is. If they are talking about others, rest assured that when you leave the room, they're talking about you as well.
Yes. And in fact, I quote her in my book. Let me try to find it. I She's one of my mentors, and when we're talking about language, slanderous language and descriptions and titles, I quote her in my book. And let me see if I can find it, Richard. You have the book. Let's see.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll bring up
Yes.
that in our profession, you and I probably
Here it is. Here it is. Page 177. Under the positive language and words to strike from my vocabulary. Are you ready? I quote her. Page. Any of you out there watching that have the book, go to 177
in your hymnals.
in your hymnals.
Yeah.
We gather together to. Okay, words are powerful. I am convinced you must be careful about the words you use or the words you allow to be used in your house. In the Old Testament, we are told in Genesis that in the beginning was the Word and the Word was God. That's in Genesis. Words are things, or you must be careful. I quoted Maya Angelou. I've been a Buddhist for 34 years. I was raised in the Christian church. I'm involved in other things, I have to say. Yet that was so important to me. And Maya Angelou said this on The Power of Words in the Oprah's Masterclass. I watched her say this on Oprah's Masterclass. And it's so true. It's so true. And here's the thing, whatever we put out there, it's coming back to us. So
That's right.
you better make sure it's the truth, okay? You better make sure you're not just making it up and you're not just trying to, mess up somebody else and mess up their journey. Because guess what? It's going to come right back on you. What we wish on other people, we wish on ourselves, period.
It's the boomerang effect, folks.
It is the boomerang effect. Do you want to read something from that chapter on the boomerang effect? Because that's your favorite chapter.
Well, I quote it a lot, but uh, you know,
That's
uh,
your favorite chapter is the boomerang effect.
yes, and I love what Alan just said, and thank you, Alan, for being here.
Hi,
And
Alan. Hi, baby. Yeah. Next Sunday, woo, we got some stories, don't we, Richard?
yes,
Letting go of
but I wanted to
backstabbing.
go back to what I was just about to say is
Yeah.
in this profession, and I'm talking about the profession of show business.
Uh-huh.
We deal with this on a regular basis. It's very interesting because we live in a very bullying culture.
Yes, we do.
And we've allowed the bullying to
Mhm.
infiltrate itself into every aspect of our
Mhm.
culture. It's in our songs now. It is
Mhm. Yeah.
on reality television, brought it first and foremost. Let's face it,
Mhm.
someone's going to get kicked off the island. Someone's fashion is gonna, someone's fashion is going to be made to feel worse than somebody else's.
Yeah.
Someone's cupcake is going to be made to look and feel worse than somebody else's. It's
Mhm.
and situational comedy has turned into put down humor.
Yeah.
Everything is, putting down, putting down, putting down, putting down, putting down.
Mhm.
And when someone is on this crest where we think that they are the greatest thing since sliced bread,
Mhm.
everyone applauds them, everyone worships at their feet, everyone thinks they're great. But the moment they cross the line and they say something that people disagree with, especially in today's world, it's the cancel culture that everybody wants to erase them,
Mhm.
wants to put them out and everything. And in most instances, they are saying nothing that's any different from everything that they've been saying all along. It's like, again, Maya Angelou says, when people show you who they are, believe them.
Yeah. It's true.
And
I hear it every day. I see it every day. Yeah, I hear it every day and I see it every day.
and I love what you say about, people will impose boundaries on you, that they are, or this is one of my favorites, uh, not, uh, where somebody will allow certain behaviors from a certain person because that's who they are, but they won't
Yes, I
accept
deal with
the
it every
same,
day.
but they won't accept the same things from you or everyone else.
Exactly. Exactly. Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. And people do it every day. They do it every day, and especially in the workplace.
Mhm,
Now, my circle of friends, my close circle of friends, they don't play that shit with me. I don't play. I don't. I don't play that shit.
mhm.
Yes, I said shit.
Yeah.
I don't play that game, and my people know I don't play. I don't play. My
Mhm.
people know I don't play, and they don't play. Yet I do have people in my environment who uh they do this every day and they get away with it and they've gotten away with it for so long. It happens a lot in corporate America. It happens a lot on the job. I talked to a dear friend today who runs a doctor's office in Beverly Hills, and it's been happening for quite some time with a certain employee. And we had a long talk about it today. And she's using the racial card. She's playing the racial card to get away with her double standards. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to tell you what race it is, but I'm just going to say that.
Mhm, mhm.
That this person does whatever she wants to do. And she plays the racial card. Oh, you don't like it because I'm from here and I'm this, ethnicity. But it's not true. And we had a long talk about it, and they're going to crack down on that because that's evil. It's evil.
But let me ask you a question on that subject.
Mhm.
Is this a form of behavior that this person has gotten away with up to this?
Yes. Yes.
So how do you pull in the reins
Well,
in a
they have to. They have to do it themselves. I said, what's good for a goose is good for another goose. So, if someone, for instance, gets mad at everybody and walks out on the job and they're excused, but nobody else is, why is that? If uh, one verbally abuses other people on the job and no one else does, why does that person get away with it and nobody else can get away with it? You see,
but I think a big
it's been happening in this particular place.
well, it's
Um,
happening across the board because we
uh-huh.
have I mean, you and I are we're the same age. Um, and I don't know
We're
what
Hummel. We're Hummel. We are a Hummel couple, in case you hadn't figured it out.
yes.
Richard and I are the boy and the girl pushing the wheelbarrow or swinging on the swing in the Hummel collection. We're picking flowers. We're a Hummel
Oh my
couple.
god, I love you.
We're Hummel bookends.
Yes, but I grew up at a time,
Yeah.
and thank
Uh-huh.
God I did. I mean, if I
Uh-huh.
was, God forbid, drop dead tomorrow, I can say, thank God I lived at a time that seemed, at least from where I stood, that it was
Uh-huh.
a lot more civil than what I'm living in now.
Well,
And
that's because we express ourselves more these days than people used to. People didn't used to express themselves. When I would disagree with some family stuff with my grandparents, my grandmother would tell me to basically shut up. And then this was and I love my fraternal grandmother and my grandfather saved my life, as you know, from my ridiculously abusive mother and stepfather. They saved me from that. Yet at the same time, if any of us spoke up about the behavior of another person in the family, we were struck down.
mhm.
And my response was, you're being ugly. I didn't raise you to be that ugly. Why are you talking about him like that? Why are you talking about her like that? Why are you, and I would say, because I'm expressing myself.
Mhm.
This is what's going on. Oh, no, no, it's not what's going on. You're delusional. You're wrong. And we don't talk about our family like that. That's changed. That has changed. Young people are speaking up these days, and I'm glad. I'm glad young people are speaking up. And we in our age have finally, you know, discovered that. We've like, oh, guess what? We can speak up now. Because you're right. When we were young, we couldn't speak up.
But I also think, and I was watching Bill Maher the other night, and he was talking, and
Oh gosh.
I love Bill Maher,
What was
but
the show about? Which one? Which show was
they
this
were
about?
well, they were
I
and
met him years ago in LA before he had his show.
yes, but they were
Yeah.
talking about,
Uh-huh.
I agree somewhat with what you just said. However, I feel that even if kids are speaking out, there needs to be a sense of respect for those who've gone
Yes.
before. Uh,
Yes.
I feel that, and I'm speaking in general terms. I know that everyone, so let's go there first. But a generation of kids are coming up who feel
Mhm.
that me being a 62-year-old gay man, for example, um,
Mhm.
doesn't matter in terms of their world, in terms
No,
of who they are today, what
does
their
not.
needs are, and and what they require, as you say.
Mhm. Mhm.
However, and this was brought up the other night, and
Mhm.
Bill Maher said, I am proud to be able to say, but I've been there and I know what I'm talking about. And
Mhm.
the fact is that from my generation, when I was a kid, before I mean, again, I came to New York in 1979,
Mhm.
it was illegal to be openly gay in New York City.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Bars, the windows were black so that people would not even be able to
See
see.
what you were doing in there, and
But
oh, for God's
people
sake.
could lose their jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of my favorite movies
Uh-huh.
is The Children's Hour. And the movie that it was, there's also a version that came out in the 30s
Mhm.
called
Mhm.
These Three, and which is a very sanitized version. But both
Right.
of those movies deal with the same subject, and that is innuendo and conjecture. You can destroy a person's life.
Yes.
When you and I were kids,
Mhm.
let's say, Kassira, hypothetically, now go with me on this,
Okay.
that I wanted to take you to the prom. And you said, Ricky Skipper,
My Richard, my date for my high school prom was gay
yeah.
because he was the best dancer in school. And we literally parted the waters and had our own dance floor. It was so good, just so you know.
Oh, I can
That I
see it.
just want to okay, go ahead.
But let's say hypothetical that I wanted
Mhm.
to ask you to the prom and you said, Ricky Skipper, I don't like you. And I think that I wouldn't be caught dead with you. And I
Okay.
go, Kassira McKee, I'm going to get you back. And then I go
Oh,
to one of my
yeah.
best friends and I say to my best
Mhm.
friends, as a liar,
Mhm.
I slept with her last night and I got
Oh.
an STD. And then he goes,
Oh.
"Oh my
Uh-huh.
god." Then he goes to somebody else and he says, I hear
Mhm.
that Richard Skipper and Kassira slept together and she gave him an STD."
Well, that's
Oh,
slander. That's a little
no,
different.
but
That's
let me finish
slander.
my thought. And
Okay.
then the next person goes on to the next person and the next person, the next
Uh-huh.
person. And before you know it,
Uh-huh.
Kassira McKee has a reputation in the school.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's all slander. In today's world, all it takes is for someone to push a button
Yes.
and it
Mhm.
goes to thousands of people, and lives and careers have been
Mhm.
destroyed by a snap judgment
Uh-huh.
because
Mhm.
of someone being
Said something.
pissed off.
Said something.
Yes,
Yeah, and we so here's the question. What's become of our society? What's become of our society? And
lack of
it all has to do here's it. In the old days, we didn't have social media. It was word of mouth, it was gossip. Now anybody can say anything they want on social media and make it so. We
mhm,
have to do our own homework to find out what's true and what's not. Isn't that sad? And
yes.
it's a lot of work. I mean, doing the research and finding out what's right and what's wrong is a lot of freaking work that I'm not willing to do. So I don't buy into it. It's just so much work.
Someone hacked into one of my Facebook pages, and it
Uh-oh.
was nothing but false
Mhm.
obituaries, one after the next. And there's a whole movement on TikTok where people are putting out that famous celebrities have
Are
died
dead. Yeah, they're dead.
and lives are being destroyed by this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It's not
Yeah.
funny.
Well, it also, it upsets people. Let's talk about that for a minute. Why would other people post these things that upset why do they want to upset people? That's that's really, I don't want to word, the first term that comes to me is devilish. But why would people want to create these devilish emotions with other people? Why would they want to do that? It's evil. We have a lot of darkness and evil on our planet. Yet there's people like you and I and the people that are watching right now who are light people. They're light workers. We've got to put our light out there um, more. That's why we do this, Richard. We put our light out there. We put our light working out there.
Well,
Um,
the
and
people
and
the people who have voices that need to be heard
yes,
are afraid to speak out with their own
some
authentic convictions because their livelihoods, their
mhm,
careers, everything can be destroyed if you get enough people to
sure,
go against them.
sure, sure. And we there's a lot of things that have been going around about people who are dead that are not. Why people do that, I don't know. I don't know what country it comes from. I don't think it comes from us. I
No,
think it comes from
no,
somewhere else.
no.
Uh, and they're just trying to. It's evil. They're trying to conjure up negative feelings amongst human beings on the planet. And why are they trying to do that? Why? What's the point?
Well, if you have a vendetta against somebody
Yes.
and you go after somebody, you
Yes.
know exactly who it is that you're going after, and and
Which I don't do. Yes.
which you don't do, but you
Yes.
would know what outcome. What I don't understand are
Mhm.
these scam artists who have no idea who they're targeting. We have a big scam that's going on here in New York City right now, and a
Mhm.
friend of mine was a victim of this scam because and if you see this on Facebook, everyone, pay attention. This is not legitimate. But a notice went out from her account, although it wasn't her that sent it out, saying
Okay.
that she had puppies for sale. Have you heard about this?
No.
And so she had these puppies for sale, and she was not really charging a huge fee, just a rehoming fee.
Mhm.
Well, some people, this was on the news the other night, have actually bought pets online and then have shown up at people's homes that are completely fabricated, um, knocking on people's doors, saying, "I'm here to get my dog that I bought from you," and the people have no idea that this is happening. I mean, so
So evil. So evil.
I don't
Well,
under
that happens with real estate too. That happens with real estate, and uh before I moved to Santa Fe, I discovered an illegal real estate rental company that I reported to the state before I moved here. There are criminals on our planet that will do anything for a dollar. They'll do anything. You have to do your research. You can't just trust everybody anymore these days. We used to live in the old days where you could. We can't just trust anyone anymore, and you have to have conversations with them. You have to talk to them on the phone. You have to have email conversations with them.
well, this is
You
the
have to
whole
go.
thing, and this is my advice to everybody out there watching. When
Yes.
I get an email, a text message from someone,
Mhm.
especially, I mean, I got a text message the other day from Andrea McCardle, and it was not from Andrea McCardle.
Her. It was not
Now,
her.
I know Andrea. I'm
Mhm.
able to, follow
That
up,
happens to me sometimes with some other celebrities. Mhm.
but I got this text message.
Mhm.
Well, a couple of years ago, this happened where I received this thing, and obviously these people out there have some sense of who they're kind of. it seemed like it was coming from Michael Feinstein. It said that Michael Feinstein was going to be performing on this ship,
Mhm.
and I'm chatting with this person, thinking that I'm chatting with Michael Feinstein because I know Michael Feinstein. So I'm chatting with this person. He tells
Mhm.
me about this cruise that him and his partner are going to be on. He's going to be performing on the cruise ship,
Mhm.
and it would be great if I came on the cruise, and
Mhm.
that this ship is going to be sailing off, and this is what it's going to cost me, and everything. And I responded by saying, I don't think this is something I can afford right now.
Mhm.
And then this person turned on me. And at that moment, I knew this is not Michael Feinstein that I'm dealing with. And so the next time I saw Michael, I asked him about it. And he said, of course, that wasn't me, because there are just people out there who will find any excuse to try to slither their
And
way.
I don't even know. So I don't have a criminal mind. I don't even know how people hack into stuff like that. And if anybody texts me, I know that they're not for real because everybody that I know has my number. All of my good friends on social media have my number and I have theirs.
Hmm.
And they can call me. So if someone sends me a message, I'll call them and go, "Did you send me this message?" And people pretty much catch them really quickly and go, "Hey, I've been hacked."
Hmm.
I double check. I don't answer people immediately on those texts. Yeah,
Hmm.
I call them or they call me. Yeah. Yeah, but getting back to double standards, I think that it's time for us to stop uh hiding behind our own fears and our own insecurities and in this what's good for me is not good for you attitude. And we find it a lot with people. We find it a lot. I have old friends on social media. I've got a couple of them that still do that. They were like, "This is what I think, and if you don't like it, you can go screw yourself." And I'm like, "Okay, okay, I'm not going to say anything. Do you want to have a conversation?" No. Sometimes people will have a conversation with me. We'll talk about it. Yet, if it comes to me personally, we got to have a conversation.
Hmm.
We got to have a conversation. If you have said, "This is me, and if it's not you, then screw you," then I'm going to call them because I probably know them. I have a lot of friends for over 40 years, and we're in touch with each other, especially from theater. And I go, "Okay, what does this mean? Does this mean you don't want to talk to me anymore? Does this mean I can't have an opinion?" It doesn't happen very often, but I will step on it. I will jump on it and I will have a conversation. And if the answer is no, bye-bye. We're not going to do this anymore. We're
Hmm.
not going to, if you're not open to me and you expect me to be open to you, but you're not open to me, then we're not going to have a conversation. We're
Exactly.
not going to have another conversation because it has to be a two-way street, baby. That's what, double standardism is not a two-way street. It's a one-way street. And if you can't have a two-way street with me, if you absolutely, and you don't want to hear what I have to say or what anyone else has to say, then we're done. I'm not playing that game. It's too much. It's too much use of my energy going towards nothing. You know what I mean, Richard?
Well, we talk about double standards, but let's talk about
Yeah.
single standards. I mean, I can honestly say, and I think that I could say this about you as well, I think.
Oh, I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see.
But for me, what you
Mhm.
see is what you get. I've got
Yeah.
friends that are here who know me, who have
Yeah.
seen me
Yeah.
outside of this box here,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
know that I am exactly who I present myself to be.
Yes.
They know
Mm-hmm.
where I stand on certain issues. They
Mm-hmm.
know exactly how I feel about certain things. This is exactly who I am from A to Z and beyond. Um,
Okay.
and I do not expect anything from anyone else that I don't expect from myself. By that, I've also, as I've gotten older, uh,
Mm-hmm.
reached a point with a lot of people where I know I see people for exactly for who they are. And once you see people for who they are, that's not to say that I will accept certain behaviors or
Mm-hmm.
certain
Mm-hmm.
things, but I know
Yes.
who that person is. And you
Mm-hmm.
and I know exactly who this is. Can I bring up a double standard that you brought to my attention this summer?
Yeah, of course.
And I think you know which one I'm talking about.
I don't know. There's so many. Try me.
When I posted a video of a song that was being presented by
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh, and I called you on it.
yes,
I called you on it.
she
And
put
I,
it
but
on.
personally, but I did it personally. I didn't do it. I didn't do it publicly.
You called me on the phone and you said, "Why are you posting this?
Uh huh.
Because this is who this person is." And
Hmm.
you were absolutely right. Were
Well,
are you well, you were,
okay.
so accept
Well, I
it.
didn't. I mean, listen, here's the thing. I didn't do it with the intention that I was right. I
No,
did it with the intention. I just wanted to call you on it and see what you thought about it. I did not have any intention of being right
I know that.
because I'm not addicted to being right.
I know that. But you were
Okay.
right in this instance.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So you were totally right. And you
Okay.
asked why I would share something which was against the grain of everything that I stand for. And that
Well,
particular
okay.
no, that's what it was. And
Okay.
that particular song, I
Mhm.
thought, well, maybe I could be magnanimous and, and share this and maybe give this
And I
person
want to ask you, why did you think you would be magnanimous and share it from somebody that doesn't even like you?
well, that's his issue,
Okay.
you
Mhm.
know? But I thought I was taking the higher road. And but the more I thought about it after you
Mhm.
called me, and
Yes.
again, I say this, and I know that you weren't calling to say, Richard, you shouldn't. I mean, there are certain people out there. Um, let's go a little further. Speaking of double standards,
Mhm.
there are certain things I can post the most innocuous thing, and I've talked about this before. I can
Mhm.
post something like, "Oh my God, I lost a button," and 5,000 people respond to it.
Mhm.
I can post, "I'm having a bad day, and this set me off this morning," whatever that may be.
Mhm.
And there are a handful of people out there, and you know who
Mhm.
you are, none of them happen to be watching,
Mhm. Mhm.
who would pick up the phone to say, "You should take that down." And,
Mhm.
and again, that was one of the reasons why I stepped away from Facebook, because of Facebook is rife with double standards.
Well, social media in general is. I
Yes.
mean, it's not just Facebook. It's
Oh, I know
it's
it's not just
all of it. It's
Facebook.
all of it. It's all of it.
I know it's not just
And
Facebook,
you
but
can watch TikTok and go, "Oh, people are interested in that. Wow, that's got 1,000 likes or that's got 100,000 likes and it's bullshit." And you're like, "Okay, all right."
but I've seen this go on where people will post and post and post and post and post and
Mhm.
post and post and
Mhm.
post about a certain topic. You go on their page and post something along the same lines, and they go, "Don't post that on my page."
Mhm.
Well, it's in line with everything you've been saying all along.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, but they don't wanna own up to it.
Exactly.
So that's double standard. That's a double standard.
Yes.
It's a dou I'd like for everybody that's watching, and if you wanna pass it on to your friends, I'd really like for this conversation to keep going. Everybody that's watching, Sean, Cherie, Alan, everybody
Very
that's watching, Doug, can you please have this conversation with your people? Can you please ask them, hey, what do you think about double standards? Do you think we've got some double standards in our relationship? Are there any double standards you're, holding on to, or And hi, Howard. Hi, Howard.
Hello, Howard.
Hi, Howard. You know, who who in your life has double standards? I don't have any. Well, that's not true. That's not true. I may have one close friend that I've had in my life for years that has some double standards. And I think it's a survival technique with him. The rest of them, no. This person is used to living a life of a certain level. He doesn't have a lot of money anymore. Yet, yeah, I'll take it up with him. I'll take it up with him. But nobody else you know, I have a few family members that probably would have some double standards, but anybody else that's close to me in my life doesn't. They don't do that to me. We don't have double standards with each other. At my day job in the medical industry, abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah. It happens every day in the workplace. Lots of double standards. And here's the problem. They're allowed to get away with them. Their superiors don't take action. They don't take action.
Mhm, mhm.
I've spoken up about it where I work in the medical field, and they're like, "We don't know what you're talking about." Why? Because,
Well, the
you
reason
know,
they don't know what you're talking about is because we
mhm.
live in a very litigious society, and
And
they
they're
are
all young, and guess what? They're all younger than me. I'm old enough to be everyone's mother in this place. And their double standards are just a way of life. I really think in the younger generations, double standards are a way of life, and they just accept them. But
well,
we don't.
well, let's talk about another double standard that's in the news.
Mhm.
We have, and it's in the news every single day. Most of Saturday Night Live was devoted to it last night. A person who has been elected to Congress,
Mhm.
who is allegedly a serial fibber. Do I want to call him a liar? Yes. Um, but the thing is, uh, the one of the issues with this guy is because of his seat in the House is
Mhm.
so important that if
Are you
he
talking about Santos?
is that his real name?
George Santos?
Is that his name?
I don't know. Is that what you're talking about?
He may have a different name tomorrow, but that's who I'm talking about.
Is it George Santos?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, he's all over the news. Yeah. Uh-huh.
My question
He
is,
lied about his education. He lied about everything in his life. And at one point, he was a drag queen, which he denied, but there's film of him as a drag queen.
well, a week ago, he said no, he denied it. Well, he's changed his tune today.
Of
Now
course, he
he said
has.
he was young and he was having a good time, and if he's going to be condemned for that, then so be it. But my point
Well, here's the
is,
thing. He lied on his resume. He lied when he was elected. That's, don't give me this, oh, poor me. If you're gonna, if you're going to subjugate me because I was a drag queen at one time or I did this, that's bullshit. He's just using that as a tool.
as a
He
double standard.
lied. He lied. Now, I don't usually do this on this show, people, but he lied.
Hmm.
He lied. And that is a double standard. He lied. He lied to get his position. Bye bye.
I'll tell you something.
Bye.
You
Bye
know,
bye.
I have I have been accused on more than one occasion of being several years ago, a well-known theater publication wanted me to do an article on Carol Channing. So this was when she was very much with us. And I said, I would like to talk about the work that she's doing on behalf of her Foundation for the Arts. I don't want to write about her career. So much has been written about this. In
Hmm.
the back seat of our car, I interviewed Carol Channing, and I still have the recording verbatim. I transcribed, I had an assistant at the time, Janie. She transcribed the entire interview, and then we edited it down to a narrative. We sent this into the publication. The publication did not run it as they were going to,
Hmm.
and I kept following up. One of the former editor of the publication, his
Hmm.
boyfriend, who did not like me, accused me of plagiarizing this article and said that it was too polished, number one, for a first time article, and that he had seen snippets of this in other interviews. Kassira, you worked with her. when she did interview
Yeah.
after interview after interview, she had stock things that she said. So
Yes.
I did not plagiarize anything. So
Yeah.
they eventually ran the article,
Mhm.
and the new editor, the article said it was written by him and me. Both of our names were attributed to this article.
Huh. Hmm.
And it made me feel um, awful that, but this person would go out and, and there are certain people out there who have said, things about me in this business. I have said this to other people. If anyone ever says that Richard Skipper said XYZ, pick up the phone and call me, because I
Sure.
will absolutely tell the truth.
Isn't it? But isn't it really easy for people to respond without having a conversation with you because they don't want to hear your side? They just want to tell their side of it. And
Exactly.
it's so easy to not have a conversation. I always talk about dialogue, 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 dialogue,
Right.
dialogue, 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 you know, I talk about it in my day job. Dialogue, dialogue, dialogue. But people don't want to have dialogue. Why? Because it's two-sided. They want to be one-sided and say what they got to say and run off. It's just so, it's, you know what? I'm going to say it out loud, people, and you're going to forgive me. It's pussy. It's pussy activity. You're a pussy. You're a wimp. Okay? You are afraid. You do not want to hear the other side of it. You want to say you're part of it and you want to disappear. Well, you guess what? You can run, but you can't hide.
Well, and you talk about this in your book as well. Everyone,
Yes.
let that go. Kassira
Yes.
McKee. It's available
Hmm.
on Amazon.com.
Yes.
Or better yet, this is my commercial for you right now.
Oh,
Better yet,
darling.
call your favorite bookseller and ask if they have this book on their shelves. And
Hmm.
if they don't, you can have them order it and get it on the shelves.
Hmm.
But the thing
Hmm.
is that, you talk in.
Available on Amazon, by the way. Available on
Yes, it
Amazon.
is, and I posted the link.
Hmm.
Sean
Yeah.
was asking about the book,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it's a lot easier for people to wallow in these stories over and over and over again. And you talk about repeating these
Hmm.
stories rather
Hmm.
than confronting it head on and saying,
Yes.
we need to stop it here. So I
It's
know.
not even about. It's not about confronting. Here's why I think people don't have a dialogue. They think it's a confrontation. It doesn't have to be. It can be a dialogue.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a confrontation. Only if you are addicted to being right, this person that counteracted you and didn't have a conversation with you, addicted to being right, not willing to have a conversation about it because they were addicted to being right. And they were going to win no matter what because they thought they were going to have the last word. Well, guess what? You didn't have the last word. We just talked about it. You did not have the last word. Whoever what was this person that you're talking about? Richard, what was his
This was
name?
the editor of a magazine a few years ago.
What was his name?
I'm not going to mention the name.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to put the name out there. But
Okay, that's your choice.
yes, I will
Okay,
not, but
okay.
that person is welcome to come on the show and we can talk about it. But
Sure.
guess what, Sarah? I'm going to give you
Yes.
the final word because
No, 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 no. I think you should have the final word today.
I have the final word on.
I know, but you know what? You feel so strongly about this subject. I think you should have the final word today.
Really?
Yes, really.
Well, okay. I will bring up. Oh, look at
Do
this.
it. Do it. You can do it. You can do it. Okay. Do it. Do it, Richard.
You see what's on the screen before I do that?
No, loving the show, book ordered while the show flew by. Okay.
No, see what's on the screen.
What? I don't know.
Book ordered.
Okay.
We just made a book sale. So
Yay!
thank you, Sean.
Yes,
So
Sean, please share it with everyone you know. But I really want Richard feels really strongly about this subject. And I
I'm
usually you feel
yes.
really strongly about this, and Richard, you need to end this today.
No, okay. Thank you.
Just do it, Richard, because you feel really
I
strongly
am
about
just going to
this.
go with this. I had a
Okay.
situation just this past year
Mhm.
where someone sent me an email
Mhm.
saying that this person, male or female, I'm not going to say,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
was being told by other people in the industry that I
Mhm.
was bad mouthing this person, which is not
Oh,
my.
I remember this. I
Yes,
remember this.
this
Okay.
is
Okay,
not
go
my
ahead.
style. This is not
No.
who I am. This is
Mm-mm.
not what I'm about.
Mm-mm.
I'm about celebrating. Um, I believe that every day I'm reading Dee Wallace, who was on the show yesterday.
Mhm.
Get her book also, Born, and read chapter 5. She talks about the fact that the earth came from nothing. God created the earth from a void. What exactly does a void mean? And I was reading this morning in my morning pages, and all of us are creating from nothing. So
Mhm.
the last thing that I ever want to do is to be responsible for hurting another human being. My own philosophy, at the risk of sounding Pollyannish, is if I've offended one person, I've offended one person too many. I do not want to offend anyone. I do not go through life like this. But when I was told that this was what she was told, that I was bad mouthing her, I said, it's very simple. Get those people and we will do a Zoom call and we will confront it and we will put it right out there
Okay.
because it's not true. It's
And
not
it
who
never happened. And it never happened.
it never happened
Mhm.
because it's not who I am. I want, when I do my own shows, I say this last week before last, 3 friends I lost in my life. And Kassira has been saying that a lot of people are checking out now, and I'm seeing it.
A lot of people are checking
We've
out now.
lost a lot of people,
A
uh,
lot of people.
you
A
know,
lot of celebrities, young and old.
a
A lot of
lot
friends.
a
Mhm.
lot of
Mhm.
celebrities.
Mhm.
And I read this great article on New Year's Day, and it said, "Every day we are becoming and we are dying. We are dying from the moment we come through the birth canal. We are
Mhm.
going through life. But if we all thought of our lives as if
Mhm.
this is it, this is our last moment, what
Mhm.
is it that you want to say to everybody?" So
Mhm.
tonight, I'm going to say to all of you what I say at the end of every show. And this
Mhm.
is not just lip service. I hope that you follow through and you do what I asked you to do. Number one, pick up the phone and call someone you haven't spoken to in a long time. Not an email message, not a text message, not a private inbox message, a phone call. Let that person know because tomorrow you may not have that opportunity to call that person. When
Yes.
these people are passing on, everybody rushes to post their pictures of them on Facebook. Celebrate them today, not
Mhm.
tomorrow when it's too late. That's
Mhm.
number one. Number two, do something nice for somebody else. Order 2 copies of Let That Go. Keep one for yourself and send one to that person that you haven't spoken to
Mhm.
in a long time.
Okay.
Write your own inscription inside the book. Let them know how they matter in your life. Uh, I've been thinking a lot about this. I've talked about this at the end of almost every show that I did last year and beyond, is that we're all in the same storm, but we're in different size boats. Some are in yachts, some are in canoes, some are in rowboats, some are on sailboats, some are pushing tugboats upstream. I don't
I'm on an Egyptian barge up the Nile, just so you know.
You're up that Egyptian barge up
The
denial.
Nile. Yes.
Denial. I got it.
Not denial, the Nile.
The Nile. So,
And
regardless,
also, I want to add, heal yourself before you attempt to heal everybody else. Heal yourself.
yes. So,
Heal yourself.
Kassira said something earlier, and I'd like you all to do that. We're going to be back here next Sunday night at 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
And it's going to be part 2 of this discussion, because it is part 2. And we're going to be talking about the backstabbers. And
Letting
we've
go of
all,
backstabbers.
if any of you want to reach out to Kassira or myself this week with your thoughts about what we've talked about tonight or next
Mm-hmm.
week, we will incorporate those things into next week's show.
Yes,
That's number 1.
absolutely.
So
Mm-hmm.
if each of you, in addition to thinking about it in your own lives and how it's playing out, pay attention this week.
Yes.
Really
Pay attention every week. Pay attention every week.
every
Yeah.
week. But
Mhm.
this week, what I'd like you all to do collectively is to pay attention to what you see in the media, whether it be on social media or on the news media, of when you see or hear about double standards, and report back to us next week with your thoughts and your findings.
Yes,
And
yes.
perhaps,
And also in the next week, keep track of when you feel like you have been backstabbed by someone. It happens a lot. I deal with it. Richard we have stories. If you feel like you've been backstabbed, or you remember something in the past where you've been backstabbed, write it down, share it with us next week.
and if you
It's
want
really
us on
important.
camera, we'll bring you on
Yeah.
camera.
Yes, we will.
Laura, I love you, and I'm glad
I
you're.
love you more.
Thank you. We're gonna see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Love you. I she left me already. She left too soon. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the closing credits. Here we are. I let her go. She's gone. So here we are. Good night, everybody.
It's gonna